we're talking about GSP, and one of your opponents, the gentleman you actually won your title off of, Luke Rockhold. He's been very vocal, about you specifically, and about this fight. He's not too happy with you at all. Which, whatever, rightfully so. You guys aren't fans of each other, so I don't expect him to say nice things about you, as I'm sure you feel the same way.
To be honest, listen, I have nothing against Luke. I mean, he was on UFC Tonight on Wednesday, and he was just seething. Anytime my name was brought up, you could see the hostility on his face. Yeah. And I'll tell you right now, I've got no hostility against Luke Rockhold. To be honest, he was a former opponent. He said some things that bothered me at the time. But of course, now, that's in the past. I don't sit here obsessing over Luke Rockhold. Now, of course, I took his belt and not the other way around. So it's easy for me to say that. But sorry, Lewis, go ahead.
No, it's fine. I'm just kind of thinking about this now as well. This is so funny. I don't know if you saw this meme. You had to have, because people fucking troll you all the time. And if you haven't seen it, I'll send it to you after the show. But it's a meme on Instagram, and it says the difference between Bisping and Rockhold. What is it? When Rockhold beat you, it has this very dramatic violin-y music, and he hugs you and he's like, "Brother, good job." And then it cuts to this I don't know if it's a metal riff or hip hop or whatever it is, but it's you winning, and you're like, "Fuck you, buddy, fuck you," and it literally anybody who's fucking a fan of the sport, I feel like it would turn them into more of a fan of yours than against you.
Right, hold on a minute. Now, I think I haven't seen that one, but I have seen it doing the rounds, and people saying, they compare the two when they first won. Rockhold was all class and Bisping was a douche.
Yeah.
No. Let me tell you right now what happened after I beat Rockhold. So I win, I jump on the cage, and I screamed, "Fuck you," because he said some things at the press conference what pissed me off and this and that, and he tried to discredit me. But whatever. So I get down off the cage, I have my moment, I walk around, and I shake his hand. I go up to Luke, I shake his hand, and I say, "Unlucky pal, well done, all the best, blah 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 blah." I can't remember exactly what I said, but it was nice things, congratulatory things. I mean, it's over, it's done. And then I'm walking around the octagon and I'm having my moment as I'm entitled to, and I'm waving at the crowd and I'm hugging my team and this and that. And as I'm walking around the octagon, I find myself walking past Luke Rockhold again. So I again go to shake his hand and say, "Listen, well done," and whatever, all that type of stuff. And he goes, "I already shook your hand." I said, "No, yeah, I know it." And he says, "No, I already shook your hand." I said, "Really?" I'm like, "Oh, dude, I'm trying to be nice here." He's like, "I already shook your hand again." I said, "Oh, well, do you know what? If that's how you want to be, then fuck you, dickhead." I said, "Do you even know where you are?" I said, "You just got knocked out, buddy. You might want to take a seat." Well, no, he was being a dick with me.
Yeah,
so I thought, you want to be a dick? All right, we'll shove it up your ass, and here we go.
Well, it shows you how the internet, you can edit things in any way, and it's
exactly.
Yeah, and they run with it.
So that's why then I went into full on dick mode, because he was still being a dick. And then, of course, I walked into the press conference afterwards, and he was still continuing it there. But why did we get talking about Rockhold? What was he saying?
Oh, because this is his quote. I'll read his quote about you fighting George St. Pierre. He says, "I'm bummed they took this route. It's kind of taken away from the heart of the sport. It's about the top guys fighting each other. This isn't the WWE. This is fighting. It's what it's all about. So when they make moves like this, it definitely makes you question a lot of things that they're doing and how they approach things." And before I get your response to specifically that statement, I want to say, this isn't the first time the UFC is setting up a big money fight in lieu of the number one contender. I mean, we watched Chael Sonnen, coming off of 2 losses, move up a weight class and fight John Jones, specifically because Chael was just good on the microphone, not because he was the absolute best fighter at 170 pounds for years and a dominant champion who retired with the belt and is coming back. So, this isn't a WME move. This isn't the new age of the UFC. They've been putting together big money fights since day one when they can make it happen. And I kind of feel like that's kind of an unfair statement to make about today's climate in MMA.
Well, of course, he's kind of bummed out because, this fight with me and George, hopefully, touch wood, it does a lot of business, does big numbers, and we both make a lot of money. Of course, that could have been Rockhold had I not knocked him out. So, he's a little bitter about the situation. But my point is, though, to Luke is, why is he so bothered? Because he hasn't even fought since that fight. He was scheduled to face Jacare. He pulled out, said he was injured, whatever. If he was, then God bless him and all the best in your recovery. But he has to fight. It's as simple as that. So whether or not I was fighting GSP or Yoel Romero, it wouldn't make a blind bit of difference to Luke Rockhold because he wouldn't be getting the title shot.
Yeah.
He was supposed to fight Jacare. He pulled out. At this moment in time, there is no talk of a fight. He's even calling out Fabrizio Verdum, which is ridiculous. That's just him trying to get some headlines because he knows he's never going to get to face Fabrizio Verdum. Verdum ain't going to take that fight. He's focused on the heavyweight title. What's he got to gain from facing Luke Rockhold? Absolutely nothing. But in the meantime, that makes Rockhold look like a badass. Yeah, I want to fight former heavyweight champion Fabrizio Verdum. That makes him look like a badass. But
Smart.
even though he knows that fight's never, ever going to happen.
It's a smart move, Mike. You should you got to call out some heavyweights. It's incredible.
I don't need to call out any heavyweights. I've got every Tom, Dick, and Harry, every man under the sun calling me out. You know what I mean? So I don't need to start calling out heavyweights. I've got enough people that want to find me for crying out loud. But Luke just needs to get past it, brother. Come on. Simmer down, man.
Brutal. Yeah, I was trying to set you up to start making fun of GSP's fucking fruity training on the rings, and you didn't because
hold on. How would that lead to me mocking GSP?
I thought you were going to mock it. I really did. I was like, all right, there's no way.
By the way, for the record, I've got nothing to mock GSP about. Listen, we're going to fight and I'm going to make him doubt himself and I'm going to talk shit just like I would against anybody because we're going to fight. It's as simple as that. And whilst we're fighting and in the lead up to that fight, you're my enemy. You're my sworn enemy, and everything I'm doing right now is in an attempt to beat you in a fist fight. It's as simple as that. And whilst we're doing that, you're my motivation to train. You're my motivation to eat clean, my motivation to go to bed early, to get up early, to train 2-3 times a day, to push myself to physical exhaustion. So if we see each other, I'm going to talk a bit of shit. Simple as that. I'm going to try and sell the fight, but I'm not going to try and sell the fight. It's just the way I am. You're my sworn enemy until that fight's over. But I'll say this. I have nothing really, to be honest, but the utmost respect for George St. Pierre. And I've said this time and time again, he has been the consummate professional throughout his career. And really, if you wanted to model yourself on a fighter, George St. Pierre would be the guy. He's the guy that has always pushed himself to find new ways of training, traveled to get the best training possible. And as I said, been a professional, followed a great diet, didn't party, did all these things. George St. Pierre would be the guy that I would say, model yourself on that guy. But we are going to fight, so I'm going to talk a little shit. I'm going to call him a lizard, and I'm going to make fun of him.
All right, let's get some fan questions. We got a few of them today. We got time for a couple. Mike, are you in a hurry? I know we're a little past an hour now.
I'm good. Well, saying that, 11:21. I get picked up at 12 o'clock. I fly to Atlanta later, filming the movie Den of Thieves. But the car's going to be here at 12. So that he can leave at 12:30. I've got to shower. I've got to have breakfast.
We'll be done in a few minutes. I'll make it quick. We'll get some food.
What do you think?
The fan.
Hold on. My wife did some washing for me. Is the washing done? It's drying. Okay. So, yeah, listen, my car comes in 40 minutes. Screw it. Let's talk for another 35.
No, we're good. We got a little bit of time left here. All right. So if you guys are a fan of the show and you want to have us answer any of your questions, make sure you guys email bym@gasdigitalnetwork.com. Also, make sure you check out the radio show we do, The Countdown, every Thursday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on SiriusXM Rush 93, even though we might not be doing the show anymore. But anyway, we won't get into it. Marissa got mad at me because I tweeted that it might be my last show.
So listen, just for the record, are we still doing the radio show without going into details? What would if you were a betting man, are they going to pay you more money or not, Lewis?
I would say it's 50-50 shot right now that I'm going to...
I hope so. Listen, I like doing the radio show. We get to interview a lot of cool people. Obviously, we interviewed Ice-T recently, which was very cool, amongst many, many others. And I hope we figure it out, because if it wasn't for the radio show, we wouldn't be doing the podcast.
Completely agree.
We would have never met, Lewis. We would have never met.
That's true. This fucking bromance wouldn't even exist if it wasn't for that radio show. God, so SiriusXM... pay the fuck up. No, I'm not going to say that. Can I? And I don't want to give too much information. We are talking about. I am in contract negotiations with SiriusXM. They don't want to give me any more money than they've been paying me, and we're talking about what I'm asking for is I mean,
It's not a lot.
A fraction of a penny to them, like nothing. It's literally nothing to them. And it's just about moving forward and progressing in my career. And we've started this amazing podcast. And, you know, to be honest with you, if they're not willing to let us progress and do what we got to do, you know, I can't really do it. And Michael, I got to say, man, you are fucking the man, because the first thing you said to me was, hey, if you walk away from that radio show, I'm also walking away from the radio show. And not many people, you know, would do that. Not many people would give up a gig like that. And I got to say, that's fucking very cool of you, because you truly don't have to do that.
Yeah, well, you know, listen, at the end of the day, I don't want to quit the radio show, but, you know, we do it together. And if you walk, I walk. Simple as that. You know, I mean, I've got no interest in doing it with somebody else, getting to know them. I'm very comfortable working with you. And, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of guys out there I would be comfortable with, but I've got to respect you taking your stance. And if you're not happy, then fuck it, I'm not happy. By the way, I want to take this opportunity to thank everybody that has supported this podcast, because this is only episode 4. And on the iTunes podcast charts, we're coming in at number 3 most of the time in the sports section. Number 3 after 3 episodes, Lewis, is fantastic. So thank you, everybody that is downloading the show. And number 1 on that show is Freddie Flintoff, I believe. He was a former cricketer. So Freddie Flintoff, I am coming for that number 1 spot. We are coming for that number 1 spot. So thank you. Leave a review and continue to download and support the show.